So the adjustment for the Trianga Mukhaikapada, Paschimottanasana. So the tendency will be for the, I think it's okay. So the tendency will be for the hip of the knee that's bent to raise up a little bit. So you can lift up their mat and place your foot underneath their sit bone on the other side. So you can see, so with Carolina, her right leg is straight, so I'm putting my foot underneath her right hip, and then you'll take in this case, the left hand. The left hand is going to come onto the hip of the bent knee, and then go ahead and fold forward. So I'm in kind of a sumo stance, like a squat here, and then I'm pressing down with this hand, and then I'm lengthening her spine with my opposite hand, like this. Okay. All right. So, Navasana. So boat pose. So there's not much adjusting that you really can do here, but we can show you the modification. So stretch out your arms so they're parallel to each other, parallel to the floor, and lean back slightly so the abdominals engage. Here's one modification. Point the toes so that the toes touch. Here's another. Now lift the feet, and shins are parallel. There's another modification, and then eventually the legs will straighten. And the biggest tendency here is that the shoulders will tend to roll forward. So you may just lift your chest, lift, 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 and relax. So you would hold Navasana for the 5 deep breaths, and then press the hands on the sides of the hips, cross the ankles, and press and lift yourself up like this, knees in for 1 breath, and then back to Navasana for 5 breaths, back to lift. And you would do that 3 times, and then work your way through the vinyasa. So then the next asana is Bhujapidasana, and the modification for Bhujapidasana, this is an arm balance, is just to use crow pose. So, so you come from downward facing dog, and you can hop forward to a squat, and we'll go with crow first, okay? So from downward facing dog, just hop the feet forward, keep the, feet together. Okay, so hands are shoulder width apart. Don't go into it just yet, don't want you to get tired. Hands are shoulder width apart, elbows straight back, index finger forward, so Hasta Bandha, of course. The gaze is about a foot away from the hands to keep everything lifted. You'll bring your knees as high up on the arms as possible. Of course, there's modifications where the knees can be a little bit lower, depending on the strength of the practitioner. And so, knees into the armpits, Uddiyana Bandha engaged, and you'll lean slowly into the hands, lift 1 foot, and you may put 1 foot down, lift the other one, alternating, and then eventually both lift, touch your feet together. Keep Uddiyana Bandha in, keep lifting, and relax. Good. So the modifications for crow, you can try, depending on the strength of the student or the skill level. Okay, so the first modification is to keep the knees out to the side, right? And then they can sort of lean into the elbows, lift 1 foot, they can play with lifting the other foot, and then they may eventually lift both. Or the modification that Carolina showed, where the knees come high up on the arms, and again, they're squeezing in as you're leaning into it, and again, lift 1 foot, try lifting the other foot, and then eventually both will lift. Do you do Bhujapidasana? Okay, so for Bhujapidasana, I'll demonstrate that. From downward facing dog, you'll hop the feet to the outsides of the hands, and eventually you'll hop right into it. So You want to walk the feet forward so that you can let the hamstrings rest on the back of the arms. And then you walk the feet slowly forward. And then you cross them at the ankles. Then you can play here with lifting the feet up. So hooking the feet together, lifting up. And then you may have to point the toes to get them through the hands, dropping the chest forward so that the nose almost touches the mat. Hold 5 breaths. And then to get out of it, you come up through Titivasana, maybe through crow, and then eventually shoot the feet back for Chaturanga and move through the vinyasa. So stick with the modification that works for you. If you want to support your students in the arm balances, you can come in front of them and just hold their shoulders. Do the crow one more time. So you may come here, feet wide, and just sort of hold their shoulders. I'm not giving her any weight. I'm just here as a sort of a preventative measure. And of course, if your students are really nervous, you can place a bolster or even a block underneath where their head would go. So that's an adjustment option there. Okay, for Kurmasana or turtle. Should I demonstrate this one?
Yeah, I mean, I can get into it, but it's very modified.
Okay, let's see your modification.
Yeah.
So Carolina will show us the modification. So again, we're coming from downward dog. We're hopping the feet, it's okay. Just hopping the feet just like we did to get into Bujapidasana. So the feet will come forward and then you'll just sit yourself down. And then from here, go ahead and show your modification. So she's gonna slide one arm first underneath, and she's gonna work her arm as much underneath the hamstring as she can get it. And the hands will go straight out from the shoulders. And then she'll start to straighten her legs and relax her head down towards the mat. So this is a good modification here. And another option, if that is not accessible yet, is to do like a wide leg diamond pose. Take the hands underneath the calves and then relax the head towards the mat. So eventually, so that's step 1. Step 2 is what Carolina showed. Step 3, then, so you're, same thing, working the hands underneath the arms, underneath the hamstrings. Arms are reaching straight out to the sides. And then these legs will eventually straighten out. And you're activating your thighs, so the heels lift and the chin comes to the mat. So once Kurmasana is accessible, you can work towards Supta Kurmasana. So I'm going to demonstrate and have Carolina, talk Carolina through the adjustment. I'm going to actually turn this way. I think it might be easier to see. Okay. So from Kurmasana, you're going to re-bend the legs. Wrap the first arm, you want to get it as far underneath as you can, so you can wrap it around the low back. Of course, you can use a strap to clasp the hands if necessary here. So again, my opposite arm is reaching underneath the hamstring to get the bind. So once I have my hands there, I'm going to just, on my own, heel toe my feet together. And I may stay here, relaxing my forehead. I may, on my own, cross my feet and then relax my forehead. So let's say that I'm not quite clasping my hands yet, and I wanna have the adjustment to get some help here. So what you're gonna do, Carolina, is you're gonna push my shoulder underneath my leg. So you're gonna put one hand on the top of my shoulder, on my scapula. Yes. And you're going to push that underneath my leg, and then you're gonna, with your other hand, you're gonna move my leg towards the other one. Quite a lot of strength here. Lift it, move it, lift it, lift it. Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. And then do the same thing on the other side. So it's a slow, sort of alternating process, okay? And then once she's done that a couple of times on both sides, then you may squeeze my elbows together. No, you're not.
Okay.
I know it's a strong adjustment. Good. And then squeeze my elbows together to get the bind. Okay? Now, come over on the other side of me and cross my ankles. It's okay.
Okay.
Yep. So, and then she may place my ankles on a block. And then I'll just stay here.